you doing? My name is Mario Lloyd, Real Estate Guru PK on YouTube and Instagram. Y'all check out my affiliate link with Justin P. He's half of the owner of Support Black Businesses. Y'all check out the Big Business and the Runaway Billionaire affiliate link down below in the description below. And y'all also check out N1 Finance, Weeble, and then I also have a course, an ebook. It's $25. It's like my mentor course. It shows you how to wholesale, and then my other affiliate links for SoFi, Robinhood, Discover, Chase, and that's it. Y'all have a nice day. Hey, how y'all doing? We on another episode of Real Estate Guru Podcast. I'm with a special guest, Tj Tijani.
Man, what's good, fellas? What's good?
He went from hustling Jordan shorts out of Foot Locker to,
how you know that story?
to engineer for a couple of years, and then got about 5 rentals, correct? And then you didn't want to quit yet, but you took your walking papers. And now you got almost 40. Correct?
Yeah, we're just over 30 at this point. But we'll be, man, we're probably looking to at least double that next year. It's crazy.
How long did it take you to get that?
So I launched my first one December 2017. So
it's like 4 years.
Yeah, December 2017. Then that first one was one I owned. And I didn't even know much about the strategy, which is known now called rental arbitrage, right? This is the control without ownership. This is, you may also be referred to as master leasing, right? Or rent to rent. But I wasn't privy to that strategy at first. So I wanted to get into the short-term rental game. And the first one I did was a house that I owned. And at the time, I was just the plan was just to remodel it and make it a traditional rental, just like I had my other properties. And in my research, and that's why I like to tell people, this strategy, I wasn't even looking for it. Kind of just fell on my lap. I was doing market research on increasing my marketing efforts because I was doing wholesaling and creative deals at the time. And so in my research, I saw a video on short-term rentals about Airbnb. At the time, I had never even stayed in an Airbnb. I was like, I know about Airbnb, but I didn't know you can actually make this a business. And so I decided, instead of putting a traditional tenant in that first one, I just decided to furnish it. I spent $14,000 to furnish that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It had 2 living rooms in it. Furnished the whole thing. Came out pretty nice. And so then, I never forget it. I furnished it, and the last day, it was done. And so I went home and I hit the launch button, boom, launched it on Airbnb. And I was like, wow, what did I just do? I don't know if this thing gonna work. So then I put the phone down and I started watching a movie, and then somebody inquired. There's an inquiry, just a question. It wasn't even a booking, but the level of excitement in my spirit was just so, I was like, oh my God, yeah, it's ready. Book it, it's ready. And so I didn't get a booking that night, but I woke up with 2 bookings the very next day. I was like, oh, wow. And so when I crunched the numbers, what made the strategy become such a no-brainer for me is even with those 2 bookings, I was like, man, at the price point that I was at, which was well below market, at that price point, and even if I'm only 50% occupied for the month, I'm still looking to, at minimum, double what I would as a traditional rental. So I said, man, there's something here. Then I got educated. Then I learned that I even had to own these properties. Right. So I learned that you can just rent them if you rent them the right way, though. I think a lot of mistakes that people are making is that they're renting them incorrectly, getting themselves in a lot of trouble. There are folks a lot of folks actually do this business and they just want to do Airbnb. They just kind of want to put a property up on there to make a quick buck. But people like me, the way I teach my students, the way I teach this business is to actually grow a business out of it. Make it a business. So, and we, built a nice community of this business with this particular strategy. So I actually own most of my short-term rentals because although you can arbitrage, you can rent these properties, you don't have to own them. But I like to let people know you should definitely place value on ownership at the end of the day. Definitely the goal should be to own your short-term rentals. That should be the goal at some point in time. Even if you transition from arbitraging, at some point in time, I like to consider going from phase 1 to phase 2. Phase 1, build that nice nest egg of what that cash flow goal is every month, and then transition to phase 2 and start owning outright your short-term rentals and watch the yields in the short-term rentals. With that strategy, watch the kind of cash flow that happens. It's an amazing thing, combining the two.
So this method, short-term rental that you do, it's a full-fledged business now.
Yeah, it's full.
I mean,
yeah,
let's not get beside ourselves. We're talking to quote unquote the king of short-term rentals in the Houston area.
Hey.
Anybody that I know that we talk to, that we interview, or we've just chatting around, the first person that pops up out of their mouth is TJ when you talk about short-term rentals.
Oh man,
yeah,
it's it's an honor. It's something that I decided, and my life didn't change in this business until I decided to get laser focused. Prior to getting to the short-term rental strategy, I was an engineer, and I got laid off. I was working on a couple other things. I was looking at some network marketing things. I was trying to do this. I was trying to find this job, and I was spread way too thin. And even with me doing real estate, doing creative deals, I was still wholesaling. But when I found this strategy, I was still doing this strategy, and then still doing a lot of other things. But nothing changed drastically for me until I decided, you know what, I'm letting every single thing else go. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to master this. And honestly, that was what best works for me. I mastered that. And in mastering that, I've automated, I've systemized it. And now I'm able to do a lot of other things, create some vertical integrations, or really just any other businesses, right? So we got, my feet are now, and my hands are now touching a lot of other businesses, but I'm able to do that now because I mastered what my main hustle is. And it's a beautiful thing. And one of the things I love about this strategy is this is one of those businesses to where it tracks with the kind of business that I like to grow. Businesses that I don't mind being a technician in the business, working in the business for some time, but eventually transition to being an entrepreneur where I'm more so the puppet master, make sure my team is set up for success. And now I have a team running the business. See, today's Tuesday. I don't know if I worked 2 hours in my business last week, right, with as many units as we ran, right? But what that does is that now I have the time to do a lot of other things.
Yep.
And that's what I love about the business.
Can we talk about you had 2 jobs working your way through school, right?
yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit? How hard it was so for all the college students that watch,
man.
how you grinded that.
Yeah, put a context on it. What year is this?
This is I started college 2006. So I started college 2006. I graduated 2012. So it took me 6 years to get my engineering degree. Took 6 for one because I went into college. I wanted to do architecture. So my first year I did architecture. Then I had to apply to get into the engineering school. Then the first time I applied, I didn't even get in. They said that even though I had really good grades and my GPA was good, they said, nah, this specific class, we need you to do make this score. It was the chemistry for engineers. It was a crazy hard class. But I ended up doing it. Got the grade that I needed to. Then I got into engineering school. But to your point, absolutely, yeah. I'm the first in my family to go to college, and it was a tough time, but it was such a fulfilling time at the same time, because I ended up putting myself through school, and I'll never forget my mom. My mom is like, we're like this, right? She's literally, to me, she's like the best human being on the planet. But when I talk about her, sometimes I like throw her accent in there because it's just so her. I'm just so used to talking about her that way. But my mom would always tell me like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? How are you? Why are you signing up for school? I don't have money to send you to college. Like, how are you going to go to school? I'm like, Mom, don't worry about it. She was more so like, Taufik, what are you doing?
Nigerian?
Nigeria, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm 100% Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
And one of the reasons why I had to put myself through college is because I was an immigrant. Like, I'm an immigrant, and I, wasn't a citizen. So I couldn't get scholarships. I was awarded the Dell Scholarship out of high school. One of the only few people in the entire district to get it, which was $20,000 plus a free Dell laptop to go to school. And literally within 2 weeks later, they had to take it away from me. Dang. Because it was like, man, we did a background check. You're not a citizen. Wow. That's part of the requirement. You got to be a citizen. Wow. So I didn't get it. So I couldn't even get financial aid. I qualified for the maximum financial aid. They wouldn't even give me financial aid. They wouldn't even give me a loan. I tried to take a loan out to go to college. They wouldn't give me a loan. And so then the only choice I had was just to pay for it myself. And what's crazy is that they wanted me to pay out of state tuition, even though I was going to college right here in Houston. They wanted me to pay out of state, but because of my status, right? And then it was crazy. I visited University of Houston. That's one of the reasons why I knew I wanted to go there. There was a guy that came and spoke to our class. I was in like an AP class in high school, and he came and spoke. And after he spoke, I told him, I said, man, Mr. Woodson, I really, really want to go to college. I want to go to U of H, but they got me paying this out of state. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. then I explained to him my situation, and he said, man, I got a form I need you to notarize. I need you to get signed. And as soon as I did it, I got a letter two weeks later saying, hey, you've been granted in-state tuition. How he did it, I'm not really sure, but he was able to get me in-state instead of out-of-state. And so now just the second battle is, okay, how the heck am I going to still pay for school, right? But at least half the battle, like I'm like, okay, well, at least I'm in the door. So then I just started working, right? I worked at Foot Action, selling shoes. And I had I guess in that job, I had 3 hustles. I guess in a way, 3 vertical integrations within that one job. I was selling shoes, of course. That was like the main way I got paid. Then whenever retros came out, the J's came out, people would literally, because the line would usually be wrapped like around the corner. So our usual customers at the store would pay us to just hold the shoes. That way they ain't got to come in and they got to wait in line.
Just put them back.
And they would pay like $500.
You're not gonna get in trouble for this, are you? You'll come back for your check, man. No, I'm just kidding.
No. So they would pay, and this is not including the cost of the shoe, just to hold it, just to hold it. And so I would at least hold every time. I would at least hold at least 6 shoes. You know what I mean? Just for some folks that I was really, really cool with. So we did that. And so that was one hustle. And so then also twice a month, they would have like these clearance sales, like crazy sales on all the apparels, especially apparels, because they were trying to make room for the new stuff. And so what I would do is I would add my employee discount on top of the sales, and I would buy everything in the store. And it would be like all the Jordan shorts, the Nike shorts mainly were the 2 things that people wanted the most. So I would buy these for like $5, $10 when you include all the discounts. So I would literally take my bags and I would go into the dorm rooms at the University of Houston, and then I would sell these shorts for $25, $30 a pop because they retail for $59.
Yeah.
Right. So
half price.
Exactly. So it was like half price. So it's a deal. So essentially, I didn't know it at the time. I was wholesaling. Right. These Jordan apparels and Nike apparels. Wouldn't necessarily know what I was doing, but I was doing it, and that I love that hustle. Like that hustle was a little different because I would walk in. It got so popular to where people would be like, oh, TJ, he got the Jordan shorts. It got so exclusive because every time when I came, it would be a line, and it would be like within 15 minutes, everything's gone. And so it got so crazy to where I would just like ping, like I would just release like a little whisper that I'm coming, because they don't know when I'm coming with it. So I just put a whisper out there. Oh, no, TJ got the shorts coming tonight. Like, so I would go and I would clean up. So within that one job, I was stacking cash, and all I was doing is I would put my money to the side. Now, here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that when I signed up for orientation, because, you know, these colleges, they want their money, right? Like, correct. They want their money before you even sign up for classes. So I went to go talk to a lady at the financial aid office. And I said, man, what options do we have here? And she said, well, you can defer your payments to the end of the semester, but we have to charge you interest. I said, okay, well, how much interest? She said, 5%. I said, okay, it's not that bad. I can make that work. So every semester, I would defer my tuition to the end of the semester, and I would just work my butt off, work my ass off during the semester, stack the cash, and I'll pay my tuition at the end of the semester. And I did that for 6 years, but it required me to work a lot. I was working 40+ hours a week, 50 hours a week sometimes. In school, still taking a full-time student load, and that's how I was able to pay myself through school. 6 years later, I graduated with my engineering degree and my mathematics degree. I started working on gas.
Wow. What kind of engineering degrees you get?
The mechanical.
Nice.
Yeah. I was gonna do civil because it kind of aligned. They work with architects a lot, but my mentor at the time, he was like, "Man, do mechanical. It's harder, but do it. You'll be way more versatile."
Why did you pick engineering? Are you mechanically inclined, or are you just the engineering status?
And you know, I don't know if you guys ever heard about kind of the stigma, what they say about the profession options you have as a Nigerian child. You could be an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, or a failure, right? Yep. So, but what's interesting is that nobody pressured me to be an engineer. Nobody even said that, nah, you need to be an engineer. I chose to be an engineer. But can I be honest? I didn't even know what the heck an engineer did when I chose to be one. I didn't even know what an engineer did. My mentor at the time, I was studying math. Because I was really good at math, and I was just studying. And he was like, man, you're really good at this stuff. I said, yeah. And then he was like, what do you do? And I told him about myself, and I asked him what he did. He told me about himself. He was in his senior year about to graduate and work for Shell. And he showed me his resume. He said, man, I'm about to start making $92,000 a year, like out of college. I said, shut the door. You lying. And he literally showed me his resume. I was like, wow. He was like, man, you're really good at math. You should be an engineer. Like you're really good at
Yeah.
it. And then I found out that the architecture program is super, like you don't even need much math at all for architecture, but I was really good. That's like the one subject I was really good at. So I just felt like, okay, engineering plays more to my strengths. You know, I didn't know much about what an engineer did. So that's why I decided to be an engineer. That's it. That's literally how I became an engineer. Honestly, best decision ever.
Did you graduate with student debt, or you paid your way?
No, I paid my way.
Awesome.
I didn't have no student debt when I graduated.
Awesome.
Wow, that's a
So
rarity.
graduated. What year was that? 12.
2012.
So between 12 and when you launched your first Airbnb, which is 17, what did you do in those 5 years?
That's a great question. So I was I was working oil and gas, and my job, and what's crazy is that I was making six figures out of college, but it came at a cost. It came at my time quite a bit. My job required me as a subsea installations engineer, required me to be offshore quite a bit. I was literally gone about 60, 65% of the year. I was working on a boat, a rig. You know, I got promoted to being a lead, and everything was great, working as an engineer. And then one of my boys, my frat brothers, he called me. He was like, "Bro, I just got done reading this book, and it just reminded me of you, man. I just watched you hustle throughout college. I think you should read it." Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so I bought the book.
Robert Kiyosaki.
I bought the book, and I took it. I actually supposed to go offshore. I took the book offshore with me, and literally while I was on that rig, I read it. The first time I read it, I said, "Man, get me off this boat. Get me off this rig. I need to get some assets in my belt right now."
Yeah, change your mindset.
What?
Yeah.
I read it twice.
Yeah.
I read it twice while I was offshore, and I said, I need to start investing in real estate, and that's really what the light bulb couldn't have been brighter. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted to own properties, and that's how I got into real estate. And literally, as soon as I got back in town, I started researching. I was a student of YouTube University, student of all kind of research, free research. Then I joined a local real estate group. Paid like $5,000 to be a part of kind of their inner circle kind of mastermind, and then I paid another $7,000 to learn how to wholesale. Then I started wholesaling, and it's interesting because the guy that I paid $7,000 to, he's now like me and him we do business together now, and I'm teaching him Airbnb now. He's a big time. I mean, he does his thing, and so that's how I got into real estate. And it has been like a heck of a journey. So I was doing real estate on the side while I was an engineer. I actually put properties on a contract while I was offshore. Like seriously, virtually. So, and that's how I got into real estate. And then my goal, I said, you know what? I knew for a fact I didn't want to retire as an engineer. I knew for a fact that you couldn't tell me, having to go through that in college, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a CEO of an engineering company, Big Don, VP somewhere. But literally within 6 months, I knew that I wanted to carve my own path. So I set a goal out for myself. I said, you know what? 10 units. I want 10 doors, 10 single family houses. I'm going to walk away from this engineering job. And then when the oil and gas market took a hit come 2016, I was on a big project with ExxonMobil. And, but when the market tanks, then everybody stops drilling. As you can imagine, when price of oil is $100 a barrel, everybody's happy. Yep. Everybody's eating. Yeah. And so, but when it goes below that, like when it got is like 42, but it costs 46 to build and produce crude oils and hydrocarbons, then they're not gonna stop. They're gonna stop drilling. And then my company, we were at the face of the economy. Like we provided all the subsea equipment that is used to extract crude oils and hydrocarbons. So when they're not doing any work, we are the first to get let go, like literally the first. So that's why we were when I was laid off, it was probably 78 people got laid off that day, just that day alone. And it was interesting because a year later they wanted me to come back, but at the time I already carved my own path. So
did your real estate, when you're at that point, you know, for people that are in that position, at that point you had already had doors, right? Yeah. You had some rentals. I have
5. So I choose for 10 to have 5. Then I was laid off.
So when you got laid off, did that cushion? And there's not a ton of money coming in at 5 rentals, but did that cushion and maybe even equity that you have in those properties kind of give you a little peace of mind?
Let me tell you why I wasn't even tripping when I was laid off, because for one, I was so ready to bet on myself. Secondly, to your point, to me, when you consider the term being financial free, you have to take into consideration it's not so much about how much cash flow you have coming in. It's more so about what are your expenses? What does it cost you to live? And does your passive income cover that, right? My cost of living was very low, very low. And so my income from my 5 rental properties was already covering my cost of living. So that's why I was like, all right, I wasn't even really tripping. So that's why I would tell people, man, shoot, like that first goal should be that first goal in terms of income on your passive, not your earned income. Not your earned, but on your side hustle, that first goal should be to cover all your expenses.
Cover living expenses.
I got a quick question. The $92,000 turnkey property that you put 20% down. Can you tell us about that? A little bit about that real quick.
You guys. So that was my first one. And I'm glad you asked that because my very first rental property, and remember I told you I joined a real estate group, a local one. And
can you say the name or you
Lifestyles?
Lifestyles,
okay.
yep.
Yeah, I was a member. Lifestyles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I joined Lifestyles, and I joined like the level to where the agents will kind of put you first and send you some deals and stuff like that.
You weren't a pig though. The
No, I wasn't a
preferred
pig.
investor.
No,
it's
I
like
wasn't a
20
pig.
grand.
Yeah, it's like 20.
Yeah.
I did the one before that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Challenge member.
Yeah, the
something.
challenge member.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was. So in that level, they have agents that sometimes will send you like deals. And first come, first serve, like kind of one of those situations. So it was a turnkey property. In fact, the owner had just redone the roof, just redone the floors, redone the electrical, plumbing. It was ready to go. So didn't need any rehab. So I did a conventional loan on it, 20% down. Right, so I paid $92,000 for it. So with tax, title fees, and everything, I came to the close table, $22K. Boom, paid it. Literally within 2 weeks, I had it rented. My mortgage, put it on a 15-year note. My mortgage was $840 a month. My lease, my tenant was paying $1240 a month. That difference is my cash flow. Right, that was my first rental property. But the thing is that that's the only property I purchased that way, doing a conventional loan.
Yeah.
Every single property after that, I bought using other people's money. Right, so there's a difference. When you look to hold real estate, and of course you can do things creatively and things like that, but there's always going to be a time versus money trade-off. See, that first property, it cost me my money to actually purchase it, but not too much time to actually get it rented. I actually had a tenant in it within 2 weeks. I had abundance of applications to sort through, and I had a tenant in it within 2 weeks. But the way I started buying my properties after that, I buy them with other people's money and I buy them distressed. And so in that case, that requires me to actually do the rehab. And so now I'm buying a property distressed and I'm leveraging private money to fund the purchase price and the remodel, get the remodel done, then refinance it, and then I put a tenant in it. But from purchasing it to the point where I'm putting a tenant in it, that can take a couple months, 3 months. So it cost me my time, even though I'm leveraging other people's money, but it cost me my time to get it from a point of purchase to cash flow, right? But I'm leveraging other people's money, but it cost me time. Versus the first example, I leveraged my own money, but it cost me no time to get it cash flowing. So I would like to tell people, like, if you are looking to get into real estate and just own some assets and get some income and own some assets under your belt, you don't necessarily have to set the real estate world on fire to do it. You can learn how to buy real estate with your time, right? Learn how to buy real estate with your time and just do something modest like do 2 deals a year. 2 deals a year, that could be done very part-time. 2 deals a year, and in 5 years, what you have 10 properties. Now, say you in year 6, you sell 5 to pay off the other 5. Now, because of now you have 5 free and clear houses, and that is the difference between a 401k and an actual retirement plan. You know what I mean? So people don't necessarily have to set the real estate world on fire to make some things happen.
I always say the more you know, the less you pay.
That's very true.
The more you know, the less you pay.
I like that. Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Basic moves. I mean, what you're saying is essentially anybody who's listening to this can do that, keep their job, do that,
100%.
And in the next 5 years or 10 years, you should be set.
Put yourself in a place to where you're very set.
Yeah,
100%.
Yep.
So why'd you do a 15-year loan instead of a 30? Is that just like whatever,
No, it was something that the lender had just put in my ear. Just like,
they want you to,
Yeah, he was just like, man, you'll pay it off. Like, it'll go straight to your principal right away. You pay it off a whole lot quicker. Wasn't necessarily thinking. I was like, okay, well, what would my note be? $850. Okay, I'm cool with making $450, $500 a month, $500 more. All right, whatever the case may be, I'm cool with it. And I was just okay with it. But would I do that now? No.
Okay.
I didn't know.
No, I just know if there was some kind of trick or something. I'm like, I wonder if you can make it 100 years, that'd be even better. You know?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you do that right now?
Because, well, it depends. Not that I wouldn't do it actually,
No,
but I would say it depends on your goals. If you are looking, if your goal is cash flow, and it's like strictly cash flow, you want to maximize your cash flow, then yeah, go to 30. Your notes will be a lot less, and you'll be able to make more cash flow. So it just depends. You know what I'm saying? Really just depends. You could put it on the 50. It'll decrease your cash flow, but yeah, you'll be able to pay into your principal.
You say 50
15.
years?
I'm sorry, 15.
Oh, I was like, what? They got 50 years?
No, 15.
I was like, wow,
15,
these
my
banks
bad.
really don't want to make money.
No, 15. You could do it on 15, get your principal paid down a lot quicker, but so it just depends. But for me now, we just do 30 years because we maximize the cash flow. Absolutely,
it's the name of the game.
Can you tell us about the boutique hotel?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we were talking earlier, and he had asked me a good question earlier about do I have a certain goal in terms of the amount of units that I have, and I had to process it for a second. I was like, man, honestly, I don't have a certain goal in terms of the amount of units, right? But my goal in terms of the type of asset type that I'm purchasing is changing. Now that's going to change. Now that I have a certain goal for that. And so for me now, I've transitioned from single family houses, doing rental arbitrage, securing multiple rental arbitrage units at one time, then, buying 2 to 4 multifamily units to convert them to fully short-term rental properties. And so now we're buying mid-sized multifamily properties that we are gutting out and then converting them to boutique hotels. And the beautiful thing about it, though, is that the boutique hotel strategy, it works with the same infrastructure that I already have doing with my short-term rental business, right? So I don't have to change my infrastructure in terms of the way I run my business much at all. We're just playing at a bigger level here. And so, yeah, I'm excited because I closed my first one this year. I'm closing another one, my second one here shortly. The first one was a 13-unit building, and it was a multifamily building in a phenomenal location here in Houston. It's right here in Detroit, right off Emancipation. Folks know anything about Emancipation. We know that this is an area that is going to change. Probably wouldn't even look nearly the same as it is now within the next 5 years. So it's a corner property right on Emancipation in Cleburne. I mean, just a beautiful property. I almost lost the deal. We probably don't have time to go through it.
Yeah, we do.
Let me ask you, what were the numbers on that property?
So
just basic. I mean, whatever you can tell, without telling too much.
So purchased the property a lot less than we should have bought it for. We got a really, really good deal on it. Got a sweet deal on it. Purchased it for $630,000. What's interesting is that when we had it under contract, the sellers did not want us to close. We had under contract. They didn't want us to close because they realized how much money they left on the table because it was a probate situation, right? I think one of the biggest the blessing that happened with this deal is the fact that we were so connected to the source of the deal. So if this is why wholesalers are able to make the money that they make, because they're connected to the source of the deal. The closer to the source, the better the deal. So we were directly connected with the probate attorney. Matter of fact, before we even came out of probate, we already sent our offer in, right? So we were already dealing with them. We built that relationship. We built that rapport. So when it came out of probate, we were right there ready to take action. But when we had it under contract, they realized how much money they left on the table. As soon as it came out of probate, now everybody's reaching out to them, right? And so we had on the contract for $630. They had an offer like, we'll give you $1 million for it right now.
I was gonna say, off the top of my head, that's worth $1 million.
For
easy.
13 units,
13 doors. We'll get $1 million for it. They had an offer for 1.1.
Yeah.
So get this. Then so they were like, yeah, we want to terminate. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Just let me count or something. Dang.
But we're on a contract.
Yeah.
I said, you can't. We're on a contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I bet you were like, no, we're gonna close this.
Yeah.
No matter what, we're closing this.
No matter what. And what's crazy is that we didn't have the time to close. My lender needed more time. They only gave us, we only had it on the contract for 35 days. And the appraisal alone took almost 4 weeks to come in. Just the appraisal. So we needed more time to close. But of course, they were not willing to extend us. This is why I brought in a partner. Shout out to my guy, Al. I brought in a partner. And then we just put our money up together. And then we raised the rest. And so we raised that money probably in 3 days. Right. And then we closed on it. We ended up just paying cash for it. Right. So I put up a good amount. My partner Al put up a good amount. Then we just raised the rest. And then we closed cash. And then literally the last day on the contract, the last hour at the title company, like they were getting ready to close and we were still needing to sign. Literally, I was at a title company waiting. My partner was still scrambling for the last 40K to come to the closing table to close the deal. And so he showed up and we closed it. I'm talking about the feeling I had was, I was just like, wow. And I almost lost this deal. And what's crazy is that same street, because my gym is literally just a few blocks ahead of that. And I have 3 other duplexes in this neighborhood. I'm heavily invested in this neighborhood. I literally have to pass up this property, this 13-unit deal, every morning to go to the gym. I couldn't. Like, man, if I had lost it, I would have had to look at this property and be reminded of the L that I took.
That's a home run.
It's going to
be a home run.
It's a home run deal. It's a home run deal. So the amazing thing is that when we got the appraisal back, it appraised as it stood for 1.1. Ooh. As is. The after repair value came in at 2.5.
Yep. Oh,
easy,
my goodness.
Easy,
killed
easy.
it. He's killed it.
Yeah.
And you just refinance your money right out the deal, right?
It's going to be a cash flow king.
Yeah, it's cash flow. It's going to be a cash flow monster.
It's
going to be a cash flow monster.
Are y'all refinancing the money out?
We're going to get our money back out of it.
Oh, okay. What about
we're going to get our money back.
The investors?
All our investors already paid back.
Oh, okay.
Because we pay cash.
And
so then we refinanced it. Because now we own the cash.
Yeah.
Now we engaged our bank. Now we refinanced it with the bank, pulled the investment money out and the money we needed to do the remodel.
How much are you paying back?
Yeah.
Sorry.
How much?
Yeah, was it like 8%, 20, 15%?
We gave them 10% plus a point.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
What's a round number for that rehab?
We're spending about $650,000 on the rehab.
Okay, man,
So,
y'all
got
1.2 million in, and y'all doubling the money.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. No money in the game. This is
that's
no
beautiful.
money in the game.
Beautiful.
Just time.
Just time.
Yeah.
Just time.
Yeah.
And so now we are literally like that property alone. I mean, the amount of, yeah.
Man,
and we're going to launch it summer, hopefully. The goal is to have it done. We're making really good time on the rehab right now. Hopefully get it done June, July next year.
What does that mean? You said boutique hotel. Yeah. Is this going to be like Airbnb on steroids or something?
On steroids, and I'm glad you asked that because I don't even look at Airbnb as just, I kind of look at Airbnb different from a lot of people. I look at Airbnb as a lead source. Like the business that we're doing, we're growing a business, and part of the strategy in really building a short-term rental business is to actually also grow a brand.
That's right.
Right? Because that way, when you grow a brand, people can book direct with you. We have our own website that people can book direct. I just got a booking. I posted on my Instagram because it was so funny. I just got a booking, and they're paying me $8,000 for 3 weeks at this property. And this didn't come from Airbnb. This came direct. But it came direct from somebody who also booked direct with me before. And then they said that, just hit up this guy, see if he has something for it. They just sent them my website, and then they hit us up, and then we're able to get them in. So now with this, we're looking at working with, we're looking more so with, companies, working with companies like the hospitals. It's literally 10 minutes away from the medical center. So we're working with the hospitals, insurance agencies, insurance companies. So we're looking to really have more of a brand, it's going to be its own brand, its own hotel essentially, and that's what we're focused on. The Airbnb will literally just to fill. Plan is to just use it to fill certain orphan days, but the lead source will not be made from there. Yeah.
When you say you focused on, you got laser focused on your business.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Man, so this was 2017. I got laid off June 1st, 2017.
My birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got, and so I think when the laser focus came in was, I would say February 2018 was when I decided, all right, I'm going all in. Probably January when I launched my first arbitrage. I was like, all right, yeah, this is the play.
Quickly, do you think that are you completely out of arbitrage?
No, I'm not. I'm not out of arbitrage. We still have a lot of arbitrage units, but just mostly, I think it's probably more like, well, not including the boutique hotel, but it's more like a 60-40 right now.
Okay.
65-35. Yeah. 60 leaning heavier on the ownership.
Can we talk about the party they had where they called you and then they put the sock over the camera?
You must have listened to it. I'm like, how my God know about all these dope stuff that has happened? Okay, so oh my gosh, this was May 2018. This was May 2018. I'm rocking it. I'm killing. Short-term rental business going crazy. This is actually my first arbitrage unit. It's a downtown Houston, and it was a 1-bedroom apartment complex is well aware of the situation. They know exactly what I'm doing. They know it's a short-term rental, and So then I had literally only 1 day out the month not booked. 1 day out the month not booked. And I was like, I'm gonna get 100% occupancy so I can go brag, so I can go say, oh yeah, I'm 100%. You know, so I was like, and somebody reached out and said that, hey, I'm driving in from Galveston. I just need somewhere to stay for the night. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and everything in me said, this is sketcy. This ain't, nah, that just ain't it. But I was like, last day, go ahead and get this honey bun. and we'll be good. You know what I'm saying? Man, dude checked in the spot. The security guard was the first person to reach out to me. The concierge, the security guard, he said, TJ, I don't know what the heck you got going on at your apartment, dude, but it's some people in there. And I say, wait a minute, what? So I go on my camera, and I'm seeing all these pings. I see all these notifications. My camera like pings me every time. So I'm like seeing all these pings. Like, and I look at the camera, and I realize that it's just black. I said, God, dog, this stupid camera, right when I need it, it's not even working. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at the camera. And so, but then I noticed that little button, that little red dot is still like, you can still see that it's, and I look closely and I see that you can still see movement. I said, wait a minute. They put a sock over, they covered the lens of the camera. Man. I said, oh, man, this was like 1 a.m. I threw my stuff. I rushed over there. Man, I'm talking about, this is a very nice apartment. Yeah. I mean, really nice. The security, I called security. I said, look, just wait on me. Don't go up there yet. Let's go together. Yeah. Wait on me. Yeah. So, and I don't stay far from there because I live in Detroit. I live here in 3rd Ward. And so I met them there, and we walked up there together. Not just the apartment, like the hallway, the entire hallway was packed with people. And I couldn't believe it. And you gotta understand, this is a apartment, like nice residential apartments. People asleep. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Like insane. I couldn't even believe it. And so security, everybody's kicking everybody out. Everybody's rushing out there like ants. And so then, thankfully, they didn't break nothing crazy. Nothing major was broken. But man, they left a mess. They even covered the smoke detector because they were smoking weed. Yeah, smoking in there. So
how much time from when he first reached out to you to when he checked in did he have?
He reached out to me like around probably 7 that evening, and he checked in.
Can you imagine that? Like you organized the party like a couple hours. Yeah,
I legit.
Wow.
But the more you know, I didn't. You know, I wasn't.
Did you get your money back and all this other stuff?
Man, I was just worried more so about them kicking me out the apartment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was my focus. I reached out to Airbnb, filed the claim. Airbnb paid it out, but I won't even. The apartment, the meeting I had the next day was the scary part.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yeah.
So that was a tough meeting to have, man, because they felt like I abandoned them. They felt like I betrayed them. You know what I mean? They felt like I didn't do what I said I was going to do. They felt like, man, you said you were, and I was like, look, I'm so sorry. I let this one slip, and this one's on me, and they put me on probation. Yep. But it was cool because we didn't have any more incidents after that.
Yep.
And they still let me renew my lease. So everything ended up working out pretty good. But this is, it was a really, really, really interesting situation. And this is the situation that, and I like to let people know, like, for example, just in Houston, because one of the biggest questions I get now is, man, there's a lot of people doing short-term rentals now. Is there too many? Like, is there still enough room?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is a great question. For example, just in Houston alone, this year, just in Houston alone, between the months of April and September, the number of short-term rentals in the marketplace increased by 60%.
Man,
just in that time period in the city of Houston.
March, now, what months?
April to September.
Man,
April to September. And so the thing is that, but I don't subscribe too much to competition, saturation, and whatnot, because to be honest, there's plenty to eat for the good hosts. Like the platform, like the industry needs more good hosts, because a lot of those folks that flooded the marketplace were just folks that just wanted to do Airbnb. The apartment complex don't know what the heck they're doing. They just rented it under their name, assuming that they will just be living there. And then they're Airbnb in it. That's what most of that influx come from. And situations like that transitions to situations like I had back in 2018, which leaves a bad taste in the mouth of the apartment complex and makes it really, really hard for people who are legitimately looking to build a business. And so that is now, not only is the influx that's happening, but it's making it harder for people who are legitimately looking to do this business. So, so can it still be done? Is it still doable? Absolutely, yes. If you're doing your thing, you got your unit set up properly, you got the right support, you got you handling the things like inventory properly, security issues properly, set up your units the right way, providing an experience for the people that you serve. You're gonna be plenty to eat, to eat. Here's my recommendation for folks. My recommendation, because the truth is that the bigger units, this is what we found. And again, different marketplaces might find that it might be different for them. What we found is that the more people you can sleep, the more money you can make. My bigger units are doing very well. Now, are they a bigger target for like the parties and whatnot? Absolutely, yes, they're a bigger target for it. But there are systems, there are things that you can put in place to make sure that you hedge that. Make sure that you avoid that the best way possible. And we are still, we haven't had issues even in our bigger units for a while. And do they happen? Yes. Do they happen? They will happen. But you have the right team. Anything that you come across, you'll be able to handle it no problem. You know what I mean? It's interesting because one of my friends, his name's Sean, he has a lot of units, and one of his units got robbed clean. Like they cleaned him out. Robbed, cleaned him. They took everything in the unit
by somebody that
rented it.
Wow.
Somebody rented his plot. And I asked him. I said, "Dang, how'd you handle it?" He said, "Man, I slept like a baby."
Yeah, insured, right?
Well, everything's insured, of course. Yeah, but he has so many units that don't even make a dent. And, he's not even tripping.
Yeah,
and that reminded me of something that one of my mentors used to tell me when I would ask him questions, and I was like, "Okay, this is what's going on, and there's this issue." And he said, "You know how you solve that? Get more units." Like he would say it jokingly. Everything that every problem that you would bring him, he said, "Man, just get more units. Get more units." He would say it jokingly, but he was actually making a really good point. The more units you have, literally, the easier this business is. The easier it gets, the easier it is for you to absorb certain things that could happen, and also outsource. Right? The more units you have, the more you can delegate, the more you can literally walk away, the more you can automate. So. So that's why I think for folks who are looking to build a business, having a goal of that certain amount of units can actually bode you pretty well.
How many units do you, before you start adding virtual assistants or whatever,
or
automating the business where you're not actually cleaning stuff yourself?
Yeah. For one, the cleaning should have been outsourced with one.
Gotcha.
Cleaning's outsourced with one unit. Because I like to let people know, and if you want to clean your units, especially in the beginning, okay,
that's tough.
Mad at it. I'm not too mad at it, but don't stay there, right?
Yeah.
That's not where your value is. That's not where your time is the most valued in that position. Now, the cleaning company you're going to hire, that's where their time is the most valued. Your time is most valued elsewhere, building your business, getting more leases under your belt, negotiating more properties to purchase, things like that. But if you want to clean at first, then cool, just don't stay there. But there's actually quite a bit that you can outsource even in the beginning to save you a lot of time. With 1-2 units, you can outsource like your guest communication, right? You can outsource your pricing strategy. You can make your pricing dynamic right away. And that's important because these OTAs, when I say OTAs, I'm talking about Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com. They're called online travel agencies. That's what they're referred to as. And they love attentive hosts. They love people that pay attention to their listing, that consistently check their calendar, that update their pricing, right? So you have to understand the mindset of pricing the way like hotels do, which is dynamic. The price that you have on a weekday should not be the same price on a weekend. Matter of fact, the price you have in January should not be your price in April or during the summertime. So your prices should fluctuate based on demand. So you can actually, so what does that mean? That means you have to go in there and change your prices every few days. But you can outsource that by using dynamic pricing technology. Like Price Labs is one, Wheelhouse is one, Beyond Pricing is another one. Like Everbook is one, but Everbook, I'd put them at the bottom of the list. I put them. But using dynamic pricing is important. And you can literally outsource that part of it, even at the beginning. And that also ensures that you're not leaving any money on the table as well either. So there's quite a bit that you can outsource. I'll say dynamic pricing and also the guest communication, because one of the things that also bodes well in terms of how high you rank in a search when people are looking for units is your response rate.
Your response time,
right? Your response rate. And so you want to be able to respond in an automated fashion, and you want to be able to respond quickly when whenever they inquire, ask a question, they want a book, whatever the case may be, and that'll keep you as ranked higher for sure. But you can outsource that even at the beginning.
Man, There's a lot of knowledge there.
Yeah.
In between those 2 ears.
What's the so what parts need to be automated, or some things that you got automated? How many people you got working for you?
So right now I'll give you my org chart and how we're structured in my company. It's me. Oh, and somebody, you asked a good question about the VAs too and about automation, and this kind of ties into what I'm about to answer. I could have hired a VA way sooner. Virtual assistant way sooner than I did. I waited till like 12 units to do it. You could have got it honestly like at 6, maybe 5 even, like, because they're not expensive.
In the country or outside the country?
The country.
Okay, like Philippines or something.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not expensive at all, and they will save you a lot of time. They will help you out a lot. The biggest issue with VAs is just training them. But because the industry has grown so much, a lot of virtual assistants you can find have short-term rental experience already. They understand the game, and so it's easier to find someone with short-term rental experience than it was before. So yeah, you can definitely get a VA rather quickly, sooner than you think for sure. But the way we're structured right now, it's myself, of course, then I have an executive assistant, then under her is 2 other assistants. These are all VAs, by the way. Then the team, cleaning team, maintenance. I have a maintenance guy, he's on retainer. Whether we have 30 maintenance calls that month or 0 maintenance calls that month, he gets paid the exact same every month. And of course, with that, we have a team. We have 2 cleaning teams, and then all the technology that we use, and that's it. Oh, then I have like my guy who's like the boots on the ground. Yeah, he's like the runner. We call him the runner.
So all this stuff you teach in a program, it's called short-term rental roadmap, right?
Absolutely, short-term rental roadmap, and it's. I like to consider this is where entrepreneurs are made. Right? Because this whole brand, this whole idea about being an entrepreneur, it's more so a mindset. It's about cash flow, right? You're earning cash flow. Really, it doesn't have to even be in real estate, right? To be an entrepreneur. So yeah, and we are literally changing lives in the short-term rental industry, in the community, and yeah, we're creating entrepreneurs in the program for sure.
Awesome.
Do the minority report?
Yeah, we do this thing called the minority report. In your opinion, where do you see? We know right now it's cool to be an entrepreneur. It's cool to have short-term rentals. It's cool to be an Airbnb. It's cool to be on Turo. With all that taking place in 2021, which we know 2020 pushed everybody that way, where do you see the short-term rental market in the next 2 to 5 years?
Great question. I think as crazy as it's grown, it hasn't even reached its potential yet. I think that there's amazing growth ahead for the short-term rental industry as a whole. When you look at companies like the Marriott, who is looking to come out with their own platform now, just like Airbnb. And now you'll be able to book not only Marriott hotels, but you'll be able to find my boutique hotel on there in the future. You know what I mean? And now people will be able to use their Marriott points to book a room, stay. When you look at things like that, it hasn't even really taken its full, like its roots penetration like it should be. So the amount of growth that's coming for the short-term rental industry as a whole, it's exponential, and I'm super excited about it for sure. And I think, the industry's been around for some time now, but now it's becoming a lot more popular, and I think that what people should look forward to is probably more regulations in certain markets, but honestly, understand that regulations isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? And that regulations could be good in terms of weeding out people that probably shouldn't be doing this business anyway, right? So, but a lot of times regulations just make room for the people who are actually trying to grow a business, right? It's just like when cars were invented, people, licenses didn't just come about. People were driving these cars and getting in accidents. They didn't know what the heck they were doing. And then they said, okay, everybody stop. We need to get some structure here. Now you got to learn how to drive. You got to get tested to drive. You got to take the written test. And you got to have a license, right? And so regulations aren't necessarily a bad thing all the time.
It'll probably improve the experience for the renter.
I call it a moat. It's like a big water field around protecting you. Just like I have a license, I'm a physical therapist, a chiropractor. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can do physical therapy or chiropractic, as far as as far as the way they do it. But it's like something that protects your Like, did you have a license when you were an engineer?
So no, didn't have a license when I was an engineer. I didn't have to have one though. to do what I did. My goal wasn't to, and what's crazy is that, I remember when I was in engineering school, you know, you can get a license, you could be a PE. Professional engineer. I was like, my plan was to get one, and I'm just really glad that I didn't pursue, because once I realized that I didn't want to be an engineer for too much longer, there's no need.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I look at regulations as just like something that protects the people on the inside.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Absolutely.
You got your questions?
Yeah, I got like an either or question where you gotta choose one.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Clubhouse and Instagram.
You know, that's a good question for me, because of course, naturally everybody say Instagram, right? Instagram.
You got a big following.
But I'm gonna tell you something. Clubhouse changed my life, yo.
Wow.
Clubhouse changed my life this year. Clubhouse added so much value. The relationships I've been able to build at Clubhouse. I know for a fact I wouldn't have had the kind of growth I had this year without Clubhouse. I'm not even gonna kid you. My guy Byron, he was the first one who invited me to Clubhouse. He sent me the invite. I was like, bro, what is this? He said, bro, some dope conversations happening, and this, like, bro, I'm trying to see if I should get into TikTok. I ain't got time. It's all this stuff already. I'm trying to figure out. I got Instagram. I'm trying to, man, that's another social media thing. First day I jumped on, I said, oh, wow, okay. Talking. And I just started people just asking me questions. I was just dropping game. I was just giving value. Yeah. And people were like, yo, what the heck? You know your stuff in this business. I say, yeah. What else y'all want to know?
Yeah. Go buy my program.
Clubhouse has been a game changer for sure. Cool. So I would probably still say Instagram, of course, but man, for the purpose of this conversation, and because we're still in 2021, I'll say Clubhouse, man.
All right.
Okay. Chris Senegal or Max Maxwell?
Why would you ask me that? You know they're going to watch this, right?
You got to pick one. You got to pick one.
There's no way I'm picking one. Those are my guys. I'm not picking one. Those are my guys. Oh, by the way, side note, they're both going to be in attendance in my next summit, too. I'm doing my first summit. It's going to be a 3-day short-term rental summit. It's going to be focused on short-term rental industry.
When is this?
This is going to be tentatively April the 2nd, the weekend of April the 2nd.
I'll be there.
Y'all got to come. It's going to be crazy here in Houston. Once I firm up the location, of course we'll have the date firmed, but it's going to be a 3-day event. My goal is to show people everything within, and even all the nuances within the short-term rental industry, but I'm also having other industry experts within real estate to show you how you can acquire and different strategies to own your short-term rentals as well. I just had a student that did a lease on a short-term rental, but she also negotiated a lease purchase, right? So in 2 years, she'll be able to exercise the option to purchase the property if she likes it and if it's generating good cash flow for her. So now then she's going to own it. But she started off leasing it to own it, right? So different ways you can own. I love doing the BRRRR strategy using private money. Of course, we're going to talk about that heavy, but other creative strategies as well. And then, of course, everything involving short-term rentals. We're going to dive into that and all the pricing strategies. I mean, just everything, direct bookings, everything. It's going to be amazing.
Awesome.
Be on the lookout for that. Right, and they're both going to be there. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So you're not choosing either?
I can't choose either, man. They're my guys, man.
That's cool. Wholesaling or flip?
Wholesaling, man, there's pros and cons to both, bro. Wholesaling, it's interesting because wholesaling is it's almost like running. In theory, it's simple. Running is 1 foot after the other. But if I was to tell you go run a marathon right now, you wouldn't be able to do it. Wholesaling, in theory, is not a hard strategy. Put a property in the contract, for $50,000, sell it the contract for $55,000, making $5K delta. But is honestly probably the hardest strategy there is to do.
Yeah,
probably the hardest strategy there. But because the hardest part is getting the right deals, being connected to the sort, the lead generation, the whole nine. So, but I will still say wholesaling, because wholesaling to me, once you master it, you know how to wholesale, it'll make you an amazing investor.
Good.
All right. Yeah. Darnicia or Alexa Wright?
Wait. So okay, pardon me. I'm not sure who that first name is.
Flipping the Hills.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know her. Well, I had to go Alexa because I don't know too much about. I don't know Darnicia that well.
Okay.
I don't know, like
Okay.
personally, I don't know her personally. I'm sure I'm gonna know her personally in the future, but I don't know her personally right now, so I have to give it to Alexia. Right
Okay. Zoe or CEO Matty J?
These are my guys, man. Man, my ATL guys, bro. God, you gonna make me pick? Man, come on now. You know what? My guy Zoe, man, he was in Houston earlier this year, and actually, we connected, and
Yeah, we missed that.
and that was my, we man, that's my guy. But that's Matty. Come on, man, y'all.
Just pick both. You got both.
I got both.
You got both.
All right.
Give me both.
Rental property or Airbnb?
Airbnb 100%, hands
Airbnb,
down,
yeah.
2,000%.
Commercial building or house?
Commercial building or a house? I'll say a commercial building. I mean, depending on what type of house, but I'm just gonna say just a regular house or a commercial building. I'm gonna say commercial building because I'll be able to do more with it.
Money or equity?
Equity.
Section 8 or regular tenant?
That's a good question.
Neither.
If I had to pick, but neither.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, I'm just gonna go with because understand I was a traditional landlord prior to getting into the short-term rental game. I'm just gonna go with the one that I had the best experience with. That's regular tenants.
Okay. 1 million followers or Airbnb?
Or 1 million followers, or what Airbnb? Or 1 million Air?
Yeah, just one. No, one Airbnb.
Oh, one Airbnb?
Yeah.
Oh no, 1 million followers.
Million
followers.
Easy.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be able to make way more money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
850 credit score or $1 million?
Damn. I was just about to say the 850, but I processed it for a second.
You
I'm
can
like,
flip the million.
You can flip the mill too. But 850 is powerful.
It is.
That can do a lot of damage. You know what? I'm gonna say 850. Here's why. Trust me, it's tomatoes, like it's seamless,
guy
right?
here talking,
But
yeah.
I would say 850 because you can F off the million.
Yep.
You can F off the million on a bad deal.
Okay.
And honestly, and honestly, it don't take you to be a bad investor for that to happen. You can be good. You can know what you're doing. You could just get in touch. You can be in bed with the wrong person, or it could just be the wrong property, and things don't turn out the way you want it to be, and that million's gone. At 850, even if I leverage that 850, something happens, I can still use that 850 to earn more leverage. So I'll say the 850.
So last question. Rich dad, poor dad, or no BS wealth attraction on the new economy?
I have to say Rich Dad Poor Dad only because that was the first entrepreneurship real estate book I read. All right. And that changed my entire perspective. But they're both phenomenal reads.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. All the
This
info.
This is fun. Y'all be kicking it like this all the time.
Yeah.
Man.
So
This is fun, man.
that's gonna wrap up the show this afternoon. Make sure you follow TJ Tijani.
Absolutely.
At
At
Instagram.
TJ Tijani.
Yep, at TJ. He has a program called the Short Term
Rental Roadmap.
Rental Roadmap. Make sure you get that. So like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Hopefully you guys picked up something from this.
Peace, y'all. Appreciate it.